Welcome to the For Real Though Show, the podcast with the purpose for the people. I'm your host, Christopher Keith. And before we get started with today's show, we're going to tell you about our friends over at Queso What? As a matter of fact, we'll let them tell you themselves.
Queso what?
Queso Saturdays. Get your gourmet quesadillas in styles such as queso Philly, queso burger, queso buffalo, queso Caribbean, queso sea, and many more delicious options to choose from.
All fresh ingredients, marinated at least a day and a half by yours truly, cooked to perfection. 4, 5, 6 different kinds of cheeses depending on how you want it, and I can make it how you want it.
Place your orders before 5 o'clock Friday for pickup, and we are also offering delivery. Thank you so much for all the love and support you all have been showing. Let's get these orders in and have a great day.
Thank you for supporting Queso what?
All right, and there you have it. Our friends at Queso What? Check them out. Of course, if you mention the For Real Though show, you get 25% off your first queso, or buy one, get one for half price. Mention the For Real Though show. There you have it. So let's talk about what we're going to get into today. First of all, lately in the news, no abortions in Oklahoma, starting at fertilization. Also, there's no baby formula. So good luck with those kids. And lastly, the gun lobby is so strong with people like Ted Cruz and Greg Abbott, many Republicans that, fuck them little kids anyway, because when they get shot up in the school, who gives a damn? We'll offer them thoughts and prayers and shit like that, but we're not willing to do anything differently. And, the funny thing is, man, I've heard so much about the gun lobby, that they got the stranglehold on the Republican Party, but, I don't really blame the gun lobby. I really don't. It's not that they don't have a hand in it. I didn't say that, but all money ain't good money. You know what I'm saying? All money ain't good money. And they could take the money and still do what they want to do if they really wanted to do it. You know what I'm saying? So listen, the fact that they give you 100,000, 500,000, whatever the hell they do, don't mean you got to shut up about what you think is common sense. So like say if they don't want to give you that money, okay, that's cool. Again, all money ain't good money. Guess what? There's certain people that I contract with, that I decide after a certain point, I'm not going to mess with them no more. Right? Because that's even unemployed. There are times where I could have done a baseball game, basketball games and stuff like that. Even unemployed, I was like, that money ain't good money. You know why? Because their relationship is not good. Their character is not good. I don't want to put my name and my brand on their product, right? And so I'm never going to tell nobody not to take the money. The money don't know where the money comes from. The money is neither good nor evil. It's the love of money that's the root of all evil, but the money don't know where it came from. So shit, if the NRA wanted to give me some money right now, I'm gonna take it, but I'm gonna still talk about their asses. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna stand up for them when they on their bullshit. As a matter of fact, most NRA members are for background checks. They want their rights protected. They want their guns, but they also want a civil society where they don't have to fear for their lives. So miss me with that, man. Every person who stands against common sense gun control laws, they're part of the problem, regardless of why they're doing it. So it's not the money. I'm not going to blame the money. I'm going to blame the person, the people who are behind the laws that make it so easy for a person to turn 18, go buy a couple AR-15s, do what he did. Same way in Buffalo. And at the end of the day, what will go unsaid what will go unsaid is that all this shit is really about race at the end of the day. The only reason these white folks want to keep all these guns and, you know, don't want to regulate anything whatsoever is because they want to be able to, this is all part of the whole critical race theory thing, right? I mean, damn, don't teach critical race theory at school, but go shoot up the school. I mean, they will ban a book in the library, but won't deal with guns in the school. Wow, just imagine that. But it's all about race, man. You know, the only reason they want these guns so they can be able to shoot black folks. The only reason they black the blue, like they say, is only when they shooting black folks. You know, it's all it is. Because guess what? When Philando Castile had his gun in his car registered, and he told the officer that he had a gun and that it was registered, he told him where it was. Guess what? The motherfuckers shot him anyway. And you know who you didn't hear from? You didn't hear from the NRA. You know who you didn't hear from? Any gun advocate group, because most of them are white. And so it never was about the guns. It was never about the gun. It was never about Philando Castile's right to carry, you know, to arm himself. It was really about, there was a woman named Liz Brown, shout out Liz Brown, who used to be on radio. She's since been deceased, but she used to talk about, she was a lawyer as well as a radio host. And one of the things she used to always say is, it's not about the crime, it's about those who stand accused. And further that, you know, I'll add to that, it's also about who's prosecuting, you know? So, yo, I'm not gonna get on the, you know, I'm not gonna talk about that for a long period of time because it's really upsetting. I would just say to you all, make sure you do something. You know, you just can't sit here and do nothing. Do something, use your voice, contact your congressmen, your senators, whatever you got to do. And most of all, make sure your ass is at the ballot voting, you know, and getting rid of these assholes who are perfectly cool with children getting shot. You know, I mean, listen, man, you talk about having to use DNA because their faces are shot off. You talking about toddlers, faces are shot off. And I know that sounds cold and harsh, but that's what it is because they can't fucking identify it. And that's a damn shame. And then, you know, Cruz Abbott and these motherfuckers get into this news conference. Like, first of all, I'm like, how the fuck you even show up in Uvalde? Like, how does that even happen? But they're so shameless. They're so utterly shameless that they're willing to do that. They're willing to go in there. I mean, like Ted Cruz, Greg Abbott, oh my God, like, whew. And then, but Beto O'Rourke, he can't come to the meeting. You know what I'm saying? He got to come crash the motherfucking meeting, you know, and then have some hick, you know, cuss him up to my, you sick son of a bitch, want to make this about politicization. You know, it's like, no, you motherfuckers are politicizing it by diverting and pivoting from the fucking point of what's going on, of what went down, and what to prevent it from happening the next time. So, you know, they had cops at the school. You know, they had the good guy with the gun, right? Same way in Buffalo. They had the good guy with the gun. You know, these motherfuckers got on body armor. So, hey, he got his shot off. He shot the motherfucker, but, you know, he got on body armor. So that whole good guy with a gun, it was all bullshit again, because when the NRA, when these other motherfuckers start standing up for everybody, what happened in Sacramento with the Black Panthers? You don't know? Look it up. But everybody was open carry. We got a right to arm ourselves, Second Amendment, yada, yada, yada. And then when the brothers showed up with them leather jackets, them black leather jackets, and them hats and them berets and shit, with them M16s, President Reagan, who wasn't the president then, but he was governor, all them, hey, then it was a shakedown, right? Now, you motherfuckers can't carry guns because it was never about the fucking guns. It's always about white supremacy, maintaining power. So, look, man, best to have your asses at the ballot box. That's all I can tell you. You know, that's all I can tell you. Make sure you register to vote. Make sure you're an educated voter from local judges all the way through. Okay, that's all I'm gonna say about that right now. All right. So anyway, on to a more pleasant subject, the uneasy transition to something that I want to talk about in a positive light today is, let's just call it, pat yourself on the back. That's a hallelujah moment. I'll say it again. Pat yourself on the back. That's a hallelujah moment. You know, some of us who are just, you know, when you look at the news and what's going on in these streets today, just getting up sometimes, just getting up and getting out here, going to work, you know, looking for a job, doing whatever you do, sometimes just doing that and showing up is a great thing that you should congratulate yourself for. You know what I mean? I mean, for real, you know, the strongest people I know, you know, I've had conversations with, you know, some strong people, man. We're all devastated. We're all hurt. And not just the school shootings, but just the shit that's going on, period. You know, so a great man told me, he was like, C-Mac, you know, sometimes you got to give yourself credit just for showing the fuck up. And, you know, and a lot of us are doing that. And I want to commend you all, you know, everyone who's going out here and actually showing up to make, you know, this world better. And so, you know, well, you should pat yourselves on the back for that. And that came, you know, the whole pat yourself thing, it came from my former therapist, rest in peace, Miss Frances J. Thomas, who used to tell me that, you know, anytime that I had some sort of breakthrough, the first time she told me that was when we was having the session. And I have no idea. I don't really know what we were talking about, but I just remember going off cussing. You know, and this was the first time I cussed in front of Miss Francis. I felt a little bad, but at the same time, I was just, you know. And to my surprise, she goes, "Oh, Christopher, that's a hallelujah moment. I think you really made a breakthrough today. That is wonderful." And I was like, of course, it's disarming, you know what I'm saying? But I was like, whoa. So it kind of changed my perspective, you know. What I thought was, you know, me going off losing my temper, you know, she said she looked at it as an opening, you know, for me to really express myself and to see that, hey, I'm willing to go all out, you know, on this therapy thing, you know. And part of that is, part of any therapy is just being truthful, you know, truthful with yourself first and foremost, and then truthful with the people that are helping you. But, you know, but we're not really taught to congratulate ourselves on the good things we do. You know, some of this is cultural, and I'll get into that. But we're not taught to celebrate our accomplishments or ourselves. You know, our mindset, you know, hey, can't stop, won't stop, right? You got to grind. You know, we grinding, always grinding. And when you're always grinding, you never take time to enjoy the fruits, you know, or your accomplishments. Then that just creates a really bad balance, you know, and too much grinding without no celebration, without no, and I don't mean just celebrating anything, you know, there are levels to this. Like I said, sometimes you have to celebrate just for showing the fuck up. And there is something to that, you know, but what I'm saying is, you know, giving your best. I used to tell my sons when they were in school, you know, I would say something like, hey man, you should know with each of your classes, you should know within the first week what it takes to get an A out of that class. You know, why did I say that? Because every teacher's, you know, normally they got a little syllabus, you know, and, you know, for some teachers, if you pay attention, you know, some of them, they want class participation. Some teacher, they all about the test. Some teachers, they're about, you know, your behavior. So you should know what it takes to get an A out of that class. Now, it doesn't mean you're going to get an A, okay? And I never judge my kids' grades based on whether it was an A or not. I would tell them, I can't judge this for you. You have to judge this for yourself, okay? In other words, you could get an A and still fucked around the class and just did what it took to pass, right? You could do that, or you could get a C and busted your ass for that C and did the best you can. As far as I'm concerned, shit, you may get a C on the grade, but you passed. For me, that's an A because you didn't cheat yourself. So the issue is not the grade. The issue is whether you cheated yourself or not, because it was really about you in the first place. Your teacher can suck, but it's still about you. And did you do what it takes? I remember I got in trouble in high school with my gym teacher, and it was only because we had a little disagreement, and he fucked around and gave me a C. And so my dad came up there, and I knew, I was telling him, hey man, this dude just got mad at me, but this was back in the time when the parents always believed the teacher 100%. And so, my daddy got on me, he like, oh man, you got a C in gym, hell, it might have even been a D as far as I remember. But, after that, man, I got A's. Like I had this dude all 3 years in gym class, and I got A in every last one of them. This shit, half the time we didn't even do shit in gym. But all it was me just getting along with this cat. So that's what I had to do to get an A. Never had no problems, and I knew what it was. He was just fucking with me. But again, that's life. That's life. You have to deal with those things. And so, I taught my sons, specifically, my daughters were always good in school for whatever reason. But I taught my sons, to make sure that they never cheated themselves. And I think that's a message that resonated with them, right? So, again, in when they graduated, Alex, he graduated with honors, top, right at the top of his class, and looking at him, you wouldn't have thought that he was, he wouldn't have, you wouldn't have thought that he was the kind of kid that would have did that, but he did. And it was really just because he took these concepts along that I taught him, and, which breaks it down to a very, easy thing to focus on as opposed to all the other shit that's going on around him. But, so let's talk about these hallelujah moments. Let's talk about celebration, when you accomplish something great. Right now you got the NBA playoffs going on, right? NHL playoffs, those of you like hockey. And, something's going to happen. One of these teams are going to win the championship. And when they do, I'm going to tell you what's not going to happen. They're not going to win. You're not going to see a trophy presentation and then the coach get out there, and say, hey, we did a great job here, and guess what, guys? Practice is tomorrow because we got to get ready for the next season. He's not going to tell his assistant coaches, hey, guys, we got to get ready for the next season. So film study tomorrow, No. That's not how that works, man. You've already started your training camp in September. You started, your games in October, all through Christmas, Thanksgiving, Christmas, all those months, now it's springtime and damn near summertime. Your body is tired. You've accomplished the thing you set out to accomplish. Guess what's going to happen, man? They're going to have a parade. They're going to have champagne. They're going to pop bottles. They're going to kick it. They're going to look back on the journey and feel good about it. It doesn't mean that their whole entire career is over or that, there's nothing else to accomplish. But for now, we celebrate. We celebrate. We kick it. We let loose. We exhale. We enjoy the fruits and the rewards of our labor and, what we set out to do in accomplishing it. Sometimes you don't even have to win the whole damn thing. You could have came from, last place to third place. That's an accomplishment. It's something to pat yourself on the back for and celebrate. You still got some place to go. You still got a ways to go to accomplish something that you set out to accomplish. Maybe you didn't get there, but you're further along than you were, and there's nothing wrong with taking that time to pat yourself on the back because you didn't stay where you were, right? In life, we're always either moving forward or we're moving backwards. There's never no neutral in this. You're either getting better or you're regressing in some form or another. Most good organizations, they take time to celebrate their accomplishments. Hey, our stock price is up. We're doing good this month, right? They're going to go out and celebrate that thing. They'll go back to work when it's time to go back to work, but they're going to celebrate that thing. But, some of us, we don't know how to do that, especially not so the big level. So, when I talk about championships, sports championships and stuff like that, corporate America. Those are the macro things, right? So now I'm going to bring it to the micro and bring it down to you individually. Okay. And to us as individuals, man, Western culture, especially for Black folks, we're afraid of celebrating ourselves. And I'm going to get into why that is. One of them is people are afraid that they're going to be perceived as having a big head. You know what I'm saying? Like, you celebrate a thing, you got your haters out there. You know what I'm saying? We do got our haters, but a lot of us are afraid to just go ahead and celebrate because we don't want people to look at him. Oh, he think he all that. She thinks she really did something. Well, she did. You know what I'm saying? She did. And so, that keeps us from really engaging internally and externally and celebrating, for a great accomplishment. Sometimes it's low self-esteem. Yeah, you ever hear somebody like give a compliment or something like that? They give you a compliment and they be like, oh, well, yeah, I'm just doing the best I can. Instead of just saying thank you and embracing that compliment that you did a really good job or thus and such, right? They tend to think that to be as lowly as possible, is somehow pure, and that kind of comes from a religious thing, especially with Black folks. We're really into that, religious thing. It's kind of like a false teaching, if you ask me. And I'll give you an example. So I remember when the Rams won the Super Bowl in 2000. And during that year, you had Kurt Warner, Marshall Faulk, Torrey Holt, Greatest Show on Turf, Isaac Bruce, all them guys. And, after every game, you got Kurt Warner, used to bag groceries or some grocery store in Iowa. And now he's throwing touchdown passes. And so, it was like a almost a rags to riches type of story, And so what he would do is he'd get on the mic, every time they'd be like, hey, Kurt, great game. How'd you guys accomplish this great, feat or whatever, 400 yards passing and 4 touchdowns, yada, yada, yada. And Kurt would start off with like, well, first thing I want to do is thank my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, for this victory. And, I'll be like, I hated it when he did it. I hated it when he did it then because, well, for several reasons. Number one, it makes an assumption that God is for you and not for the other team, right? As individuals. Number two, it assumes that God gives a damn about a football game. Look, man, regardless of where your faith is, it's just not logical to think that God is interested in sports, that God is interested in your football game, your basketball game, your baseball game, your participation, in a sport that you made up, that man made up. This ain't got nothing to do with anything eternal. None of them trophies are going to go to heaven with you or anything like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, great, my son, thou has hit the winning bucket. No. God ain't got anything to do with that. As a matter of fact, I don't know, man. It's like they say it as if God is on DraftKings or FanDuel or something like that. And he's like, of course, I knew the Mavs would beat the Suns in 7, because I'm God, as a matter of fact, and I broke the house again, right? So no. The fact of the matter is, number one, God don't care. You just can't, wherever your faith is, you just can't make me believe that this universe, this great vast universe, the Milky Way, the trees, the air, everything that's going on in this world, that God, and I'm saying God as you know him, not as I know him or her. I'm saying wherever your faith is, I just can't buy into that the universe or that God is invested in your athletic achievements. Okay. I mean, because the fact of the matter is, look, God didn't make a game plan. God didn't practice. God didn't throw a pass. God didn't block. You know what I'm saying? God didn't, take the hand off. When they pass out your Super Bowl ring and stuff, when they give out a trophy, they don't say, all right, Kurt Warner, here's your ring. And most valuable player, Jesus the Christ. That doesn't happen that way. And I know it sounds silly, but that's the way they say it. They want to give God all the glory, for their accomplishment. When, no, man, you put the work in. You signed the contract. God didn't sign the contract. You got the check. God didn't. He don't cash the check, right? You showed up in practice. You did the reps. You did the work it took. There was resistance coming your way, blockers. If you're playing basketball, you got defenders. You got coaches strategizing against you, this, that, and the other. It's up for you to strategize back, right? And when they're doing it, watching film, they're not looking at the Bible to decide how they're going to attack. The Miami Heat are not looking at the Bible to decide how they're going to attack Jason Tatum. You see what I'm saying? So whatever happens with that, happens with that. I remember when Mike Tyson fought Evander Holyfield back in the day, and I was in church back then too. And I remember how the church, I'm not sure how my Muslim brothers and sisters handle this, but I remember the church, man, they made this out to be a big thing, like it was a Christianity against Islam thing. You know what I'm saying? Like as if Evander Holyfield was like the model Christian. That's another story. But they made that into like a real thing, like God was invested in boxing. You know what I mean? Or like God is trying to prove a point, that Jesus is superior to Allah and all this other kind of shit. And it was just pitiful, man. Religion is a hell of a drug, man. I'm not, I don't want to belabor that point, and I don't want to put anybody's faith down. That's really not what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to get you to think a little bit differently, explore a little more ideas, that there are things to be thankful for. There are things out of your control, right? That you could be thankful for. But the things you have done, the things you have accomplished, you should be very proud of, and you should give yourself credit for the things that you do. Relative of mine, his daughter just graduated college. And I remember telling him, I was like, yo, man, that's awesome, man. Congratulations. That y'all did that thing. And his first words back to me was, yeah, man, thank God. And I was like, no, man, no, you did that. You and your wife, y'all put that child through college. You supported her for 4 years, right? You made sure she had a clean place to stay, that she was safe, right? And for her part, she did the work. She passed the test, did the quizzes, she took the classes. She was diligent enough, right? As college students have to be. We all have different college experience, but she was disciplined enough to get her bachelor's in 4 years. Again, God didn't do the work. God didn't go to class. She did the work. And there were others around her who supported her. So guess what? When she graduates, she's actually already graduated. We're going to have a party soon for her. But, her graduating, that was a time of celebration. That's a time to pat herself on the back. That's a time for the parents to pat themselves on the back. It's not that they're saying, screw God. That's not. The issue is, though, is that this was something you did. You did this with the tools that you have. You did this. Okay. Same way again, like I talked about the universe before, when the trees bloom, and the leaves come, they're not like, oh yeah, God did that. No, God already put the stuff in place. So the seasons in the nature, it's already there, right? Anyway, so a lot of times what they're really doing, if you think about it, a lot of times when people get up, especially like in Kurt's day, in Kurt's day, there was a really big evangelical push, especially when he played football. And, you know, there's a lot of political stuff going on with the Bushes and all of that, a second Bush in particular. And so really what they doing was they kind of low-key evangelize it. You know what I'm saying? They low-key evangelize it. And, you know, trying to say, you know, that the reason they accomplished this was because of Jesus. And again, that just doesn't, like it even from a faith perspective, it don't make sense. So why is it helpful, you know, to pat yourself on the back? Well, number one, you know, you self-recognition, right? You need to recognize that you accomplished something and it was good, right? Second is self-confidence, because it's going to give you something internally that makes you say, I did that, I could do this, right? You go from one challenge to another. You know, self-reflection, you can see from where you came and where you are now, and you can talk about where you're going. And, you know, some of you may say, man, Chris, you know, you just over the top, you're ridiculous, you know, and ain't nothing wrong with me, you know, doing it the way I'm doing it. You know, yeah, I thank Jesus for this job. I thank Jesus for this and that and the other. That's cool, but I'm going to prove to you that there's some issues with that type of thinking. Okay, I'm going to prove it to you because, case in point, if you believe that God is into all these things, that he's pushing all these buttons, and that all your successes are because of God, all of your personal successes, then the opposite would also have to be true. So have you ever heard of people talk about taking personal responsibility? Okay, so when you think about personal responsibility, who do you blame when you fuck up? Right? Who do you blame when you fuck up? Do you say it was the Lord that did it? Do you say that it was the devil? They used to, when I was a kid, they used to have a joke. I even had a shirt that said the devil made me do it, right? And we all know that was bullshit. The devil would make you do nothing, right? So think about it. If you do something, if I offend my brother, right, then I'm not going to say the Lord apologizes to you. I'm not going to say the devil apologizes to you, or I apologize because the devil made me do it. No, you're going to apologize. You're going to take your personal responsibility for fucking up, for doing what you did, right? You're never going to blame God for your screw ups. And anytime people, we don't even look at people like with admiration when they don't own their own shit, right? And most people, again, we are taught to take personal responsibility. So, you know, let's keep it real. Going back to sports, you know, in 1986, when that ball got hit from Mookie Wilson to Bill Buckner and he fumbled that ball, that wasn't the devil. He just fumbled the ball. Mets won the World Series, right? That's what I'm talking about. So the opposite would have to be true, that every time you screwed up, every time you failed, every time you didn't get to the level that you wanted to get to, then that means that God would have had to do that too. All right. And therefore, you are never to blame for anything that happens. As a matter of fact, again, God is just pushing buttons. There's no, matter of fact, why would there even be a heaven and a hell? If you believe in heaven and hell, then why would there be, you know, I mean, it don't matter. I mean, God's pushing all the buttons anyway, right? So no, there is a balance. There is a balance. There's natural and then there's spiritual, right? The natural, that's us. That's you and these flesh and bones. You know, you go out here, you make decisions, you do things, and others are affected. That's on us. So And we're not talking about, we're not talking about being an asshole if you celebrate yourself. We're not talking about being a jerk about it. We're not talking about bragging about yourself. You're not talking about being a person that nobody wants to be around. But there is a time to reflect and to be grateful and to pat yourself on the back, to celebrate yourself for the good things that you've done. Because again, remember, when it comes to rewards, or when it comes to the rewards in this life, you can't take them with you. No matter where you go, you can't take them with you. Okay. So, embrace them. Embrace yourself, celebrate yourself, and celebrate others. Don't let nobody take your shine away. Don't let nobody say you're not thankful, or or that you're arrogant because you're celebrating something that you really worked hard for. Give yourself the credit for the things you do right, just like you give yourself critique for the things that you did wrong. Personal responsibility. You learn better, you do better. And when you do better, you take moments to celebrate yourself. It's as simple as that. As far as what I personally give God and universe credit for is for the things that I know there's no way I could have accomplished. And that whole grade scenario, when I talk about maybe getting a C, I remember I got a D. I took a class at Webster, and it was like some political philosophy class. And we read a lot of Shakespeare. We read a lot of like Homer and shit like that. And the language was so over my head, like I just couldn't grasp it. And I busted my ass and got a D out of that class, and I was happy as fuck. So, but again, I didn't cheat myself, So I patted myself on the back. I was happy as hell. Part of me was like, whoa, I escaped with a D, but I know I didn't cheat myself. I really did, and for me, that was nice, right? So, but you give credit to God for the things you have no control over, right? Those are called miracles. If you say, hey, I woke up today, and your faith tells you, that, hey, you woke up, well, then that's cool. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Ain't nothing wrong. I give glory to God for waking me up. Ain't nothing wrong with that. It's cool. Nothing wrong with that. But if you go out there and you got yourself a promotion, you worked hard, you did what it takes, and you had whatever level of success you got out of it, man, pat yourself on the back. Don't let nobody else tell you you can't. Don't let nobody else tell you you shouldn't. I'll put it this way. I'll end it like this. At the very least, credit yourself for the good shit you do as much as you take personal responsibility for the shit you didn't do right. How about that? If we can just do that, I think you'd be all right. And I think, especially for our culture, for Black people in particular, who are taught that in order, again, to be a good Christian or to be, a good person, that you got to be lowly. You got to be lowly. You got to be humble. You got to put your head down, And, again, I'm not talking at you, man. I'm talking to myself as much as anything. I've had some compliments lately, on my umpiring and stuff like that. And people telling me, hey, man, the best I've seen. I had people tell me the best I've ever seen. I had a guy tell me the other day, he's a retired elderly gentleman. He was like, man, that's the best. I've never seen anybody do it better. And I love baseball and been in this, for 60 years I've seen baseball, and he just saw me for one game, and it was some 13-year-olds. And I didn't say, well, thank the Lord. God is good. No, man. I was like, yo, thank you. Thank you. Guess what? Because I did that. I put the work in on my craft, and I know just like, when you're out there in the world every day, when you did good, when you sucked. I know when I'm on my game And I'm like, it's like Miles Davis. It's like John Coltrane. It's like I'm in this zone and I can see everything. You know, I've been this way in basketball, football, and baseball, where I could just see everything, even before it's happening. And I'm right there in the flow, right where I need to be, you know. But I've studied the game, I've studied my craft, I've had enough repetitions to where now I'm pretty fucking good at what I do. But I did that. And so I'm going to credit myself for that. And I'm going to be thankful, you know, pat myself on the back for that. Just like when I suck, I'm going to take responsibility for me sucking that day and say, hey, tomorrow you need to be a little bit better, C-Mac, right? That's what I'm talking about. So as we close, man, I just want to give a shout out to at the time of this taping, there are 3 victims of the Buffalo shooting, massacre, racist massacre that have been buried so far. Celestine Chaney, Aaron Salter, retired police officer, and Roberta Jury. Those people so far have been buried. Obviously, there are many more. Obviously, there are many more children to be buried in Uvalde. It's going to go on for quite some time, and we might have to get another one. You know, I mean, it could be another one next week, shit, as far as I know. But anyway, we're going to let you go on that note, man. If I seem a little off today, my apologies. It is definitely, again, me taking personal responsibility here. It ain't the devil that's, you know, if I got a shitty show, it's not the devil, it's me. But there's definitely a heaviness. You know, when I first started putting notes together for this show, man, it was like I had a lot of enthusiasm about it. And by the time it's time to record, I'm like, man, there's so much other bullshit going on, man. It's just, it's just a heaviness, man. And we all got to deal with it. So, hey, man, let's encourage one another. Let's be great. Love your loved ones with all your heart. You know, take care of your business. Take care of your personal responsibility. Don't take anything for granted. Don't take any days for granted. Live to the best of your ability and help your world to be better than it was when you started in it. Okay. As far as I'm concerned, every person here that's still alive, you have what it takes to make this world a better place. You do. You are the generation. You are the generation. You are the people who are going to make the change. That's what you're here for. And so it is with that that my hope remains. Okay. So, as my mom would say, plant you now, dig you later. All right. Thank you for joining our show. Thank you to our partners over at Queso What. And you guys stay safe. Peace out.